What's up, y'all? It's Cousin Chet. And welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. JusJus and Naenizzle. Good seeing y'all.
What's going on? We back with it.
We are back. Glad to be back.
And we doing, what is we doing today, Chet?
Today, we are going to talk about, what is it?
The UFOs.
Oh, no. That's not what we call them anymore. They're UAPs.
The Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. That's crazy.
Look it up.
What's the first time y'all ever, y'all got any experiences of like seeing the UFO or seeing?
Yeah, kind of. No, not
You
really.
got experience seeing the UFO?
No.
I got experience. I remember one time I seen like a light over the house of my next door neighbor, and it was just a ball of light.
You telling me about that.
It was just a ball of light, but it didn't emit any light, if that makes sense. So it's trees, you know what I'm saying, right there behind the neighbor's house. I mean, of course, it's the roof of their house.
Yeah.
So how come it's not shining on the trees or on the roof? How come the light is contained like in one, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I done went back in the house. I had my dude when I went back to the house. I went back in the house because I was on the front porch. I ran back in the house to grab our camera, came right back outside. Mind you, just back in the day to click. Then you gotta wait until the, you know what I mean?
It's a Polaroid.
Yup.
So you can wait for the picture.
Yeah, to actually pop out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, long story short. Okay. So long story short, I'm just from my front door to my bedroom is not that far. You've been down the street. You know what I'm saying? You know, my mom, you know what I mean, bedroom right next to mine. You know what I mean? So like it's right there. Like it's not that far. And then we had a mansion. So I come right back outside, can't find that. I got back on the roof. I'm looking out at the sky. I ain't see it. So that was my only experience of actually seeing something that was unidentified aerial phenomenon. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's something to me. I mean, something that is light but doesn't emit light.
Yeah,
it's a little bit freaky.
Yeah, it made no sense. Like,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And then I got it. And
it's just floating in the sky.
Man, shout out to my dude, Brandon Combs. You feel me? And it's crazy because he served too. But shout out to my dude, Brandon Combs. He was there with me. So it's like, I ain't see it by myself. You know what I mean? Which made me feel even more comfortable about even seeing it or sharing it with any people that had it.
Because somebody else saw it with you.
Yeah, because
I'm not alone. You're not just coming out looking all crazy like.
I was not alone. He saw it with me. Now you feel me? Like for real, like.
The only time I ever saw anything like that I even questioned, I was in the Navy, out to sea. I'm on watch, and I saw really, really far away, like a funny light that didn't look like a star. And it was moving slow, but it looked like it was hella far away. So, but when I spoke to people about it, they said most likely I just saw a satellite.
Oh, okay. The way you explained it.
Right. The way I explained it to other people. I mean, because like, you know, something like a phenomenon like that, other people have seen it too, and they're like, yeah, it's just a, it's just a.
See, that's why I was,
satellite.
And the crazy thing is, I done seen like shooting stars and stuff, and I was like, just gazing in the sky, like, oh shit, that was fire. Yeah.
My teacher, Mr. Savage, in 5th grade, my science teacher, right, took us to motherfucking goddamn it. It's called Boone Shop now.
Yeah, the Boone Shop Museum.
Now you got it's DeWeese Park around it.
Yeah.
Man, he took us out there and motherfucking goddamn had us hat on glasses.
Yeah,
and we watched
so y'all can watch the shit. Yeah.
They like it ain't gonna happen for like another 20 years, bro.
Yeah, that shit real. That shit real. Yeah, that shit real.
Because it is like 20 years now.
Yeah.
You know what, Boone Shop, they had a planetarium, which is like a building that is shaped like a big globe on the inside.
Yeah.
And they would
I know what you're talking about. It's across the street.
Yeah.
It's across the street from Triangle Park.
That don't.
Yes,
that don't.
They moved it. Yeah, but you're still over there.
Yeah.
But they got one inside the Boone Shop Museum to where you sit back in your seat.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, it's leather.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Sit back in your seat and motherfucking.
And they show you all the stars.
Yeah.
And like the constellations.
I
remember the first time going in there, and I was amazed at that.
Yeah, because that's crazy.
I was like, what?
Yeah, like this is really what it is?
Yeah, it was.
That's wild.
You ever been to hold on, because it's never mind. It's
Cosign.
Cosi,
Yeah,
what?
Columbus.
I went to Cosi. Yep.
I think if you live in Ohio and you've not been to Cosi,
It's kind of messed up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
What
for
happened?
You missing out.
Hey,
I don't
if
know what happened
if
in
y'all
your
tuning
childhood.
if y'all tuning in from Ohio, you haven't been to Cosi, Columbus, no matter where you from, hit me up. We can go.
All right. Look, we can go. Let's go.
Just figure out.
Cosi.
You just figure out how to get there, and I'll pay your way in. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can all just go to Cosi. You know
All 20 viewers, you heard what he said.
like real shit. Yeah, let's go.
I mean, 40.
That's not a lot of people.
This is
to pay
just
for
and
it.
Naenizzle, and it's going to get like 40, 50.
It's not a lot of people to pay for.
I've been to Cosi.
I've
just
been to
saying, the
Cosi.
people who
Yeah,
have.
we can go for sure.
The people who
I
have
take
it.
my kids. They ain't
That's-
never
I mean,
fucking
that's-
been.
Why not?
I think
For
that's
sure.
where, like,
You know what I'm saying?
like most schools go on a
That's where I went. A field trip.
Yeah, the
field
field
trip,
trip,
I went on a
exactly.
field trip.
Yeah, but
So
when you
Cosi.
go like and you go,
You go and you take yourself.
man. No, I'm talking about when you go and you like take the fam or you go and you know what I'm
You
saying.
take yourself.
Go
That's
to-
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
That's yeah.
You take your kids and shit
That's-
like that.
yeah,
You take
that's-
yourself.
That's when it. Yeah.
But to take
Yeah.
this detour back to the highway,
I'm kind of damn near worried about how they shooting stuff down.
the UAPs, the unidentified,
What are
Aerial
they? What
phenomenon.
are they actually shooting?
they
down?
really started using that term to me with this balloon situation.
It was a balloon.
The first one they
Are
claimed
we
was
sure?
a balloon.
You talking about the one that they tried to say that was from China, right?
They
Nah,
are
they said
definitely
we
saying
shot
it's
it
from
down.
China.
Yep, I know
The,
that.
the first
said
one
we
they
shot
say
it
is from
down.
China. The other three,
Man, I heard a
How
comedian.
they
don't know.
I heard a
How the
comedian.
fucking ball from China get all the way over here?
Not only,
loaded.
not only that,
But
I
y'all
heard a
have
comedian.
things that you can see that comes from the universe, supposedly,
You know,
and
I
reach
just
the
want to
surface
say
of the
to-
earth, and it makes an alert.
to
Hey, yo, there's
NORAD,
something
the
from
fact
fucking
that she
China.
knows this, Mr.
The fact they come
NORAD,
from China.
y'all should be embarrassed.
Y'all don't know that?
Super.
Man, how y'all ain't know that? How y'all ain't picked that up?
Bruh,
Super embarrassed.
Right.
like,
Like,
how?
they got shit come from the universe. What's up
How?
there? That's the real question.
How?
If y'all don't see that going on, what's the real question is what's up there with you? Which the shit that come down before it reach the atmosphere is sending off alert.
What's
Yeah,
that? What are you
I
talking
mean,
about?
Yeah, she talking about like as far as like radars, and,
Re-
you know what I'm saying, all that
reaching,
stuff. Like,
reaching
you know
the
what I
earth,
mean?
reaching the earth. You know they got shit like the satellites that detect shit, like meteors,
Yeah.
shit like
Like
that.
how you know
but how
that's
you don't
coming,
have
but you
nothing
don't
that come
know
across.
what
They don't got
balloon
nothing
coming
that come
over here.
across.
Hot air
Oh,
balloon.
yeah. I'm saying that,
How
right?
you don't got that?
So
Now, I heard a
That's all
comedian
I'm
say
saying.
something like, "Why
Yeah.
did it say made in China on the side?" Big as
No.
fuck. Like, yeah, we over here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Bitch, we in a hot air balloon with y'all.
yeah, they was over there.
They gonna play us
was
like that.
They was like,
Bruh.
No.
Look, this
Go
is
ahead.
what they say. And this kind of makes sense being like a former person that still
That's
watches
been
in the
there.
military.
Yeah.
They had the sensitivity basically turned up, right? Because they don't want to just see a little bit of floating debris and have to run a full aircraft and a full scenario out after this.
Regalia.
You know
or
what I
something
mean?
that ain't
Out of
really
some
nothing.
trash type
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And so they had it kind of turned down. I think is really what happened. They're not, but that's how smart the Chinese are.
Because they know.
See, this is what I say, and I will say this a lot.
They
If
smarter
if
than
you are
us.
not familiar with the art of war,
They know what they're
then
doing.
you should get familiar with the
That's
art
why
of
we
war.
got
Yeah, the book
USA.
itself.
The book, The Art of War, is as important for you to read as it is to play chess, to play Go, which is the Chinese version of chess. To understand what the maneuvers are of this world, you need to understand that.
The art of war, for sure. Because a lot of the stuff is like brought into you, and we can just bring it into our hands by just having a little balloon.
The art of war is all about manipulating your enemy. The art of war is all about fighting a war with as little violence as
And
It's
possible.
possible. Like literally, that's why I'm gonna
Creativity
send
as
a
well.
little balloon over there and spy on you.
Yeah.
I'm just.
And I'm gonna see how you
My
react.
thing is,
man, you
some-
ain't
gonna see
how
how
that
you
balloon make it
respond.
all the way
Crazy,
across the
man.
sea, though.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I'm
get
trying
whatever
to
I
say.
got
Yeah.
before it got
How
caught.
make it all the way across from
Because-
here? A fucking balloon?
You know
Be
why?
serious.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why?
Because the government know what the fuck going on. And they
But
trying
then they
to
said that
they
that's
working
not
with
the first one.
You
See,
hear
that's
me?
the other thing
What?
that I had to question because they're like,
What?
yeah,
This
this
isn't
has
the
happened
first
before.
one. Man, they
I
trying
don't
to-
remember
they
where I
trying to
heard
make it
that.
a
They
war.
didn't say it though. at the first time.
I don't recall, man. I didn't really hear
One
it.
world nation, bro.
She said a one world nation.
No,
That's
what
a
is
whole
it called? What's the
the
shit
World
called?
Well, what about
Economic
the
Forum.
UFOs?
New World Order.
No.
Okay, so the UFOs are the new.
It's called the World Economic Forum.
How we know we didn't pimp
World
that? How we know
that's
that's
not
something that was
UFOs.
already here?
No, I'm saying, what if the UFOs are the ones that's telling them to make
Hey,
it?
that's-
How we know the
Hey,
fucking
that's definitely
motherfucker?
a
How we know we
possible
didn't
scenario.
pimp these motherfuckers about their
Reptilians
goddamn
and
house?
It's a scenario,
How you know
bro.
we didn't pimp these motherfuckers up out their land? They was already here.
Already, oh damn.
You feel
Who?
me? Whoever.
She talking about the UFO folks.
Like who says it? Who said? Man,
They
everything
did
we've
just
been
come out
known
with
to
that
lie.
movie. Have you seen the trailer of
Do
that
you
movie
hear
called
me?
65?
We on their land.
What
And
if-
they retaliate, you know, and
what
then you
if-
gotta be retaliation.
What
It's
if,
just,
listen
she knows.
to me real quick. What if they came down, they made Atlantis, they populated the earth a little bit, then they left.
and all the white people came, whatever people
What do you
came,
mean the
killed
white
them all.
people?
Damn, yeah.
Whatever.
It got racist real quick.
Real
I don't
fast.
know.
No, because what it say in the Bible, the first people on this motherfucking land was Adam and Eve. And what was they? Fucking white?
No,
I don't
think so.
believe
Who
that.
said they was white?
But-
Who said they were white?
I'm just
You
saying.
talking
But
about
they're
pictures?
not.
Man, do
keep
you hear
saying
me?
that.
We ain't
Even
talking
though
about
they
the Bible
said,
doesn't say
even though
anything
they
about
said
color
Jesus,
at all.
motherfucking,
They
even
don't.
though they said Jesus,
Hair wool.
hair of wool, dark as fuck, tent in Jerusalem.
Bruh,
It's
I done
sand
seen
and
white
it's
folks
hot.
with dreads, man.
He said I seen white folks with
You know what I'm
dreads.
saying? But just
I'm just saying, I've saw white folks with dreads.
The Middle East was kind
check
of
this
mixed
out
with
though.
people.
If white people motherfucking
think-
get over here and
Why you still
motherfucking
talking about white people? Leave them white folks alone.
Leave them white folks alone.
Leave them white folks alone.
I was just about to go somewhere else with it.
Go
That's
ahead,
just
go
where I
ahead.
had
Where
to
you
start
going?
off
Okay,
with.
that's what you started with. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Piggyback off the white folks.
So what? So what they say? Let's not piggyback off
I
the
was
white
just playing. I
folks.
was just playing. Go
Bruh,
ahead.
if they came over here and they motherfucking got them and took over land, and then motherfucking got, how come they didn't create the Bible to make you believe something? How come? Damn, I always forget what I was motherfucking on. What I was
We
about
ain't
to
talking
say.
about UFOs. We ain't talking about the Bible.
So
right
now, what,
But you know what? Let's talk about the Bible and UFOs. Did you know in the Bible it say extraterrestrial?
I mean, if you listen to Ancient History or whatever the fuck that show was, you remember that show?
What's that?
Alien History, Aliens or whatever. The guy, the white dude
What's
with the
that?
big hair.
Ancient aliens.
Ancient
I
Aliens.
know what you're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about.
it. What
Okay.
did I say?
Talk to me. Ancient history.
Ancient Aliens. Yeah.
you
No,
was
because look,
almost there,
Yeah,
bro.
he was there.
What my man did-
I helped him out.
I needed
Bro,
help.
his
I
back.
needed
I got his
help.
back like a
Goddamn.
chiropractor. I got his back like a chiropractor. Go ahead. But go ahead.
seriously, like, go ahead. But
You don't gotta say that.
so,
Go do it.
hey y'all, she's going to pee.
All
She'll
right,
be
y'all
right
don't need
back.
nothing. I don't need
And I'm going to piss.
But anyway,
What are you talking about?
I was doing him.
Why you
Look.
always say something,
Anyways,
bro?
go ahead.
Go
ahead.
So, Ancient Aliens basically took all like the scriptures, right, from the past, and they basically anytime that you would talk about a god doing something, they would basically say it was an alien. These people just call aliens gods.
Yeah.
And then these aliens were coming down and interacting with, because that's oftentimes when you listen, like for me, the Bible is just like a people's story of their interactions with God as they knew Him.
Yeah.
As they knew God, right?
Uh-huh.
And so like we're pretty familiar with the Bible in this respect, but in even the Bible, it's a lot of stories of people's relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Even the story of Jesus is about Jesus' relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the story of Job is about his relationship with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this conversation that he has.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorites, Gideon, is about his relationship with God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but so Ancient Aliens turns that around and says, okay, it's not God, it's aliens.
Okay.
These things that we think of as gods are actually aliens. And then they like, you know, they look and they're like, look, he came on clouds, or he did this, or he came in the sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and look how
It's like,
they
you know, who
derived
would do
those
this?
to those type of.
Obviously, it was an alien. You know what I mean? It's some outside extraterrestrial force, right? So if we're living in the modern world, that's basically an alien to us, right? Like, and so, so yeah, that's what Ancient Aliens is.
Yeah.
And the theories of going back and using every one of those stories and just talk about
reverting
all the time.
into a certain type of.
Just switching it up, just so we're like, okay, people are thinking about aliens, and I mean, it's kind of clever, really.
And not only that.
I mean, I can't say that God doesn't really believe it, but
Not only that, it's kind of suspicious
it's
that.
fucking possible, right?
Not only that, it's kind of suspicious that, okay, so the alien you think in your head, like right now, you close your eyes and you think alien. What's it look like?
The little Martian dude,
Yeah, with the long head and the eyes and stuff.
big bug eyes.
Yeah, but you know how they did, if you go into ancient times, you look at them hieroglyphics and stuff, what they look like.
Yeah, but I always
Elongated heads and those type of eyes. Like, and they got pictures with, you know what I'm saying?
I get you on that.
Yeah, like that's probably where they get it from. That's probably why they even made aliens in our head look like that, because they getting it from some ancient hieroglyphs that they can't really explain. But it looked like it came from the sky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're depicting it as now. So now it's an animation, basically.
Right,
That makes sense.
Right.
Now it's an animate. This is how I put it into animated form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Off of these thousands of years old carvings on the wall.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
in a way, it's kind of plausible, right? I mean, it's just plausible that aliens did it. It is God, whatever, you know, people think. If you don't know anything about God, you're not raised in a community about God, and you're told about this stuff, if they told you it was aliens or God, you might not have any kind of different conception of what the fuck it is anyway, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
something more powerful than the human beings.
Yeah, something different. So what do you think about the recent, you know what I'm saying,
Well,
things about them shooting down
I guess maybe one reason why
UAPs?
well, maybe one reason, because, you know, we think of UFOs, we think of aliens, and we think of something coming from outer space. So maybe a UAP is more something like, you know, we know what it is.
It's
They
still
knew
the
it's a
same
balloon.
thing.
You know what I mean? They could see what it was.
Yeah.
The other three, I think, were all balloons, but they weren't clear on that.
No, I'm talking about the recent like stuff that's to where there's been like planes that, like, you know what I mean? It don't look like no balloon. It's going fast, and I think that kind of has something to do with the phenomenon of where they don't know why this exists, because how is this moving in this type of, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying the Chinese.
Are you talking about like some of the videos they've let loose? And
Yeah.
they got these things that are just moving?
Yeah, like
First of all, the fact that they're releasing them, that's just, I mean, they used to not do that. Now they just release them and it's like, yeah, there's definitely UFOs.
So is that something that they need to tell the public, so that are they, you know what I mean? Because you know what they say about the so-called, you know, the hidden hand. I don't know what it is.
Is it-
Like, but like, is that something that they need to expose
just
to us
like-
so they can,
They
like,
just getting us ready.
Yeah, like, do you
Just
think
getting us
that?
to accept a point of acceptance.
Yeah, like, do you feel that way? Because it's always been a Roswell moment all the way up until today. These days, remember, 93.
Yeah.
Compared to 2003.
Right.
Let's go. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's always been a Roswell situation. Area 51 was the craziest, you know what I'm saying? Then they said it was right pat.
For a while,
They had
they did
all
say
the,
it's
you know
right
what I'm
back.
saying? Like, come on, man. Like, what
So
what is it?
here's my thing. First of all, like a lot of things, I think about in the span of infinity times eternity.
Okay.
It's hard for me to believe that there's not other life forms and people and things smarter than us. I'm not gonna call them humanoids because they don't have to be human. They could be looking like fucking sharks for all I know. I don't know. You know what I mean? They could look like Alien and shit from the Alien movie. I don't know.
We call them superhuman.
So they just like,
If you say they like
but
us.
consider like, okay, 2 billion years ago and
Giants.
5 billion light
Giants,
years away.
bro. I believe it was
To
fucking
believe that there
giants.
wasn't a planet that could sustain some type of life and that it couldn't get to a point where it was smart enough that it could get off its planet. I mean, if we do it, it's pretty much a miracle, feat. We're working on it, you know what I mean? But, dude, I got another thought on this. What if we're the first ones to what if this is the beginning of the habitation of the universe?
In our type
Yeah,
of
because think about this. We go to Mars, right?
Which means
And people
everything
live on
you
Mars
read
for a
about
long
was a
time,
fucking
right?
lie.
And they live here. And then the next thing you know, you got some people that somehow we figure out go to another galaxy, another solar system. Maybe within the Milky Way or whatever, but they're in another solar system.
Yeah, literally.
After 100, 200 years, 1,000 years, motherfuckers gonna start evolving.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how, however long evolution
Populating.
takes.
Yeah, that
But the
takes.
cultures are going to change. The what they doing is going to
mean,
change, and they're going to evolve. So what happens after say it's 2 billion years ago, 5 billion light years away? It happens. They get off the planet. They started populating. The next thing you know, just like we did, we came out of Africa. We changed colors. What's to say they don't change shit on their own? You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, another billion years later, They're fucking flying around the galaxies, the universe.
I mean, because
blah.
to be honest, none of that,
and
none
they
of
run
that is,
into each other. They don't even know each other.
none of that is far fetched to me. Because the thing is this, right? The way they explain technology, and I said once we talk about this, remember when off cam, I said once we talk about this, especially like the 93 to 2003 or any of that, if you really like get down to it, the technology is different. Like literally, like we don't expand it from just like rotary phones.
Growth.
Bro, I am only 36 years old, bro. I remember the
36,
rotary phone, bro. That you gotta.
You had to wait for it to come back.
Like, come on, man. And then I remember the cordless phone in the household. When that very first dropped, I lived through that.
Right.
Or
Now I gotta put my face on a camera and I can just open my phone.
So imagine the people that have like a billion years.
Man, that's what I'm saying. So like, it gotta be something that it ain't just us doing it.
They're
I don't
able
think
to
it's just
survive
us
out
doing
in
it.
space. Like that's a pretty technically difficult thing to do.
Yeah,
As far as like feeding yourself, getting your energy, getting your resources, blah 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 blah. Like it wouldn't be easy, but what I'm saying is it's possible. Hell, it's possible that they're still a million light years away from us. They don't even know about us yet. You know, like think about Star Trek. You know what I mean? They're just
that's what I'm saying. Like, how do people have those like people conjuring those ideas of even like, you know what I'm saying, like having either like a dream about a UFO or having a UFO experience in real life or whatever. Like people even conjuring those ideas to even have like Star Wars, Star Trek, and have all these different type of, you know what I'm saying? Like that come from something. There's no that your brain is not gonna expand to that. Like basically, if you ain't never had no like if you live a city life, you probably ain't gonna have no dreams about being a farmer.
No, maybe.
But if you're a farmer, you probably ain't gonna have no dreams about being a city.
Why not?
No, I'm talking about dreams, like in your sleep dreams, because you're gonna have vivid dreams about what you're alike with. Does that make sense? Your dream don't. I'm saying like now dreams in reality is like I'm trying to get off this farm and go to the big city, or big city I'm trying to own some land and you know what I mean, get my on. You know what I'm saying? I want to raise some horses. Shit. Protect me.
I didn't do it.
Protect me. Oh shit. No.
No, but like to go back to this idea, like we're just like, what if we are just a colony, and they're just like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Like we're gonna boom.
That's crazy.
Or what if we did get off the planet and there was some of us left because the planet was going to crap, and a bunch of people left off in a spaceship, and maybe they just didn't make it. Who knows? And they just left us. Thinking about this: if everything shut down right now, how many generations would it take before we forgot how to build a television? How many generations would it take before we forgot this part, that part, this part, that part? Especially if we didn't have like the resources to put shit back together. You know what I mean? Like
and it's all about resources. I feel, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like once you give somebody like a skill or you give somebody the knowledge or something, like you can't take it away. And that's the
but
best
what I'm saying
thing
is
about
it can kind of be taken away because we don't have the
just
internet,
the resources. Yeah, just
we don't
the resources.
have. You know,
that don't mean I don't know a person that can't build a TV. I just don't have the stuff for him to build it yet.
No, I mean I get what you're saying because honestly, if you don't shut down right now,
I don't know how to build.
Everybody
a TV.
would start rebuilding it, right? But it would still be rebuilt different, and as time goes on, people would forget some of the shit that we've learned because we don't use it or whatever.
I mean, if they ain't passing it on,
right?
Or if sometimes a person try to pass.
Okay, so let me kind of give a better example. Like maybe it's more like a nuclear apocalypse, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And say there's only like 1,000 people left in China. There's only 1,000 people left here. There's like 1,000. You know, say there's just like very few people left on Earth.
Yeah.
All those people can't remember, nor can they like. They got to start worrying about how am I going to eat. You know, this is
survival type.
This isn't a grocery store world anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we got to learn how to survive. So we're gonna forget some of the stuff, especially if the internet and the phones and all that shit ain't there no more. If it ain't, you know, it could be laying around in a pile of rubble. It may not be any good to you. Like I can't even burn it for fuel.
Yeah, but it's crazy how the internet went from like.
It's crazy. The internet's crazy.
And then it went to. You just got Wi-Fi.
The exchange of information to get us to the point that we're at right now is crazy. But that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
you know,
does that come from our own? intellect, or does it come from these planes they're trying to shoot down?
What do you mean? Does what come from our own intellect?
All this progression in technology, does that come from our own intellects, or does that come from these planes they shooting down for real?
Are they coming from the aliens?
Yeah, you think that? Nah, not aliens. I don't like
The stuff they're shooting down, they didn't know any better before.
I like to call them the operators of the UAPs.
You said the operators.
You don't want to believe some of this stuff though.
The pilots. I call them
Because
pilots.
I watched The Simpsons when I was younger.
Yeah.
And the shit that be taking place, bro, it be real life. It be in your fucking
Simpsons are
face.
kind of sick.
So
Man,
how are they sick? They not sick.
They make
know
no,
what's-
somebody got
I'm saying
control
they
of
kinda
some
sick
shit.
in, like, in a
Somebody got some control
is
of
they
some
talking
shit.
to them? Is they
Fucking
talking
weird
to the
shit.
pilots?
You hear me?
They talking to
But
the
that's
pilots.
what we doing. Man, that's what clones is for. Who say they sending down
He said
real
they're
people?
talking to the pilots. And that's
Oh,
what I'm
they're
saying.
talking
So
to the
you
pilots.
talking about the pilots are basically the aliens, or are they somebody
I'm
here?
not calling
No,
them
we're not
aliens.
going to.
Oh, you're not calling them
we
aliens.
went
They're
all the way
called
somewhere
pilots
else.
of
I'm
the
sorry.
UAPs.
The pilots of the UAP.
Man, they got
That's what they
kids
call
that is born that are they have bitches have babies for ladies have babies for kids just to be sacrificed. What, you don't think motherfuckers grow up? They don't train people like the fucking. I don't even want to say the Arabs who knocked down the motherfucking 9/11.
I don't know.
That was supposedly the.
I don't know the Taliban.
The Arabs.
I don't know the Taliban.
She said, I don't want to do the Arabs.
Man, do you
but-
know
I
they
don't
got-
know nothing about
Do
the
you know they
Taliban.
train people over there in them countries?
It ain't. It's the Taliban, but I don't
Man,
know.
they
Well,
train
they said,
people
oh,
just,
CIA
just to have a mental.
does psyops. I mean, they're doing
Or it
psyops
could
on
be
all
a
of us
fucking
anyway.
clone.
And I guess that's
How
part of the
sweet
question,
shit is
right?
today.
Yeah.
Who are the pilots?
Yeah.
I guess that's what, if we want to talk
That's why I called
about,
them
we're not
the
talking about
pilots.
UFOs, we're talking about UAPs, and we're saying,
Y'all know
who are the
what's going
pilots?
on, bro.
Huh?
You know what the fuck going on. You know what's
Do
going
we?
I don't.
I mean, it kind of looks like something, and then tell us it's something else.
How can they put out something that I watched as a kid and it's taking the place as me going into a older teenager going into an
It
adult?
does feel like every
So let me
movie is
ask you a
coming
question.
true.
So let me ask you a
I'm
question.
talking even when they got an episode where motherfucking goddamn Queen Elizabeth died and on her fucking goddamn her thing. I don't mean to cuss, fuck.
You right. That's again.
She said, I don't mean to cuss.
Fuck. Like, yeah.
She can't help herself.
On her tombstone, man, it had the exact day she died.
Uh-uh.
Man, if you look
On The
today, bro,
Simpsons?
on The Simpsons, bro.
Okay, but listen. That ain't the same. That ain't the exact day. But
Oh, they ain't.
I mean,
It
it goes back to the pilots, though. That, you don't think that affects who the pilots are?
I'm just
Of
saying,
course.
don't be, you
The
don't be trying
pilots
to
of
act
the
like I
show,
don't know
the
what I'm
pilots of
talking
The
about.
pilots of the
bruh, that's why I
the
said
UAP.
pilots. They said the UAP.
The
That's
pilots
what
of
we
the
call
UAP.
them. The UAP, bro. Yeah. So look, so let me ask you a question, right? So, do you think, like, as far as
It's the
Is it?
UAP.
Is yeah, UAP.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's the
the
UAP.
UAP.
UAP. Oh
Uh-oh.
shit, crazy. So you think
Nigga,
that
you. Fuck.
You.
Yeah, you, nigga. So I ain't taking flight. Ugh. That
Yeah.
boots, nigga. You know what I do? I go like this.
Oh man, here we go.
Take
Here we
off.
go. Oh my goodness.
Don't look at
Anyways,
me.
listen,
Just saying.
those are insiders. But anyway,
Uh-oh.
But you wanted to put it out here
listen,
earlier,
I
though.
did
Ain't that
not-
crazy?
I didn't say nothing.
It's crazy when I mention it.
We don't even remember it anymore, do we? Anyways,
do.
so
I
listen.
do.
She said,
fucking
no,
do.
I do. I do.
All right, back to, so the
look,
UAPs.
Yeah, the UAPs. So
sorry.
look, far as so do you think, like, there is, like, as far as Illuminati, or do you think the Illuminati are the
No, we're talking
the
about
UFO
UFOs.
people?
Do you think?
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it's like the aliens
Okay,
that
so
control
look.
the Illuminati,
Okay,
and
check
then
it out.
Illuminati
So-
control everything else?
What do you think of the reptilians?
Yeah, the reptilian
I
shit.
mean, that's still along the same kind of idea.
What do you
what we're
think?
talking
Do you
about.
think
That's
that's
what
an
I'm saying.
alien
That's
that
what I'm
has
asking.
sex with a human?
Or you think it's just
Ooh,
some
You hear me? What do you
different
think that is? What's a
evolution?
reptilian?
What if it's just a different evolution of?
Or why
Like,
why
a
why
bipedal
don't they why
turkey
can't
thing?
it be they so advanced and shit that they got fucking going on that they spoon fooding us?
Maybe,
The little
maybe,
shit,
maybe they were in
spoon-feeding.
Atlantis. Maybe
You
they're
hear
like
me?
half water people. That's why they look like snakes. Is because they're amphibious.
I believe in mermaids. I believe that.
You saw a mermaid?
No, I've never had
say,
sex,
oh,
but I
it's
believe
mermaid.
in
I thought she was
that.
gonna say yeah for
I
a
believe
minute.
in
I was
that.
gonna say, because the only mermaid I ever seen.
Insider, stop it.
Who you talking about?
Nobody.
Don't pat me like a fucking horse,
Oh my god.
motherfucker.
All right. Anyway, so back to the lab again. So
Back
do
to
you
the
think?
lab
Do you think? Do
again.
you think that this? You think the reptilians is controlling what's going on, or you think?
Hold on, let's start talking about what's going on. Because we're like, what's
check
going
this
on?
out. If
What,
they can,
we just
hey,
got
no,
stuff
listen,
flying
no,
in the
listen,
air.
listen real quick.
You know what's
if they
going
can
on?
make
They know what's
clones,
going
if they
on.
can make
Hey.
clones of people, why can't they breed different things? That's
They
like how
can.
we have motherfucking like weed. We
You
can
know,
breed weed.
you never heard of Dr. Moreau? The story, the island of Dr.
Dr.
Moreau.
Sebi.
So who?
Nah, who was that?
The Island of Dr. Moreau actually, I think it was a fictional book, but it was about this doctor that would try to make hybrids of like a guinea pig and a fucking
Man, I believe they can
rat
breed
type
that shit
shit.
together.
You know, half
Together.
monkey, half whatever.
I ain't heard that, bro.
And he would, like I
That's
don't know.
crazy. That sounds
But
crazy.
so I think they've been playing with stuff, but that's.
Yeah, for sure.
See, that's the difference. It's like, what's us and what's the pilots? Because we've done some pretty good shit. I mean, I don't want to take, like, I think some shit we just come up with.
We do.
You know what I mean?
'Cause
Like,
we're imaginative.
so
we're creative.
Not even that. Not
and
even
we
that.
brilliant.
Not
for
even
real.
that,
And
but it's
we are
somebody.
brilliant.
Our minds can do that, right? That's where motherfucking got them to get the plots for the movies and shit. Some of them fucking things be real life. Man, a lot of that shit is subliminal.
So,
We're gonna put it in your face.
So let me ask you, who gives it to them? Remember I said that earlier. Remember I'm like, do they got to put it in your face first to get us
what
ready?
if it's just part of our collective knowledge? What if that's, like, there was a famous psychologist, Carl Jung, who believed that there was this collective unconscious, right? There's this thing that we're all tapped into, and they call it unconscious because you're not necessarily aware of it,
Yeah.
right? And
We
so
all
that's
under
why,
the
like,
umbrella.
in a way, and it's just like,
We're under the same umbrella.
right?
It don't matter what race you is. It don't
And
matter
so-
if I can't even understand what you're saying. None of that. Because the thing is to survive. That's the umbrella.
No.
Everybody wants to survive. You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
we wouldn't
I
have
don't give a damn if
inventors.
you Jeffrey Dahmer.
Hey, we wouldn't have
that
inventors if
survival
people couldn't think
intact.
like
Right,
that.
but like they build on stuff, right? Like there was at first there
Elaborate.
was, at first,
not
at first,
elaborate, but they piggyback.
yeah,
for sure.
right.
It's
Because at
called
first
the remix.
there's some people and they're like, we don't know how to make fire, and then someday they're like, we figured out how to make fire. And now everybody's making fire. And then they're like,
Like
oh,
an inventor.
if you do this with fire, you can do that. If you throw this rock in there, it melts and you can turn it into a sword. You know what I mean? Like, and there's almost like logical steps. Like if
like
you
you
figure
found
this
out
out, you're going to figure this out next. So I don't care if you did it in
'Cause somebody's
Mexico
gonna
or you
involve
did
it.
it here.
Yeah, because somebody's
Like,
going to involve it.
the ancient aliens thing, like one of the things that I've always found interesting is the idea of pyramids, right? There's pyramids all over the world.
And they still uncovering
But they
them.
kind of look different sometimes. They are still uncovering them.
Yeah, they're still uncovering them.
It's my brother.
Go ahead.
But yeah, they're still uncovering them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's like, it's almost like at a certain point in our evolution, so to speak, right? We figured out how to make pyramids. We're like, we want to build something big. And the best way we know how to do it is stack stuff in and make it get tighter. Because if we build it straight up, it'll fall over.
Fall over, yeah.
You know what I mean? So right now, all we know how to do to build so it won't fall over is to build a pyramid. It's kind of cool that they did it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's a fucking pyramid. You know what I mean? In today's standards with what we build, you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, I realize that it's intricate and the blocks are really big and nobody knows how they did it and aliens had to do it.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
And
I never said aliens had to do it.
Well,
Because
the pilots,
you could do. I feel like you could do anything.
but
if you
maybe
got-
they
if
had
you got enough
different
people around.
technology. Like, see, that's the other thing about, like, say you had a civilization that was here and then it gets destroyed and they leave, or not a lot of them are left, and they don't know how to pass that information on. So maybe, like, one theory with the pyramids is they use sound, and they'll refer to the Bible because there's a story where somebody blows trumpets and knocks a wall down, right? So they recognize there may have been some kind of technology where they understood how sound worked
to cut the bricks,
to move them.
not just cut.
I don't know
but
about
move them too.
cut them, move them. I don't know,
All of that.
but
You
I
talking
had
about
heard it
fire.
in reference into
That-
moving.
Oh, that's fire! I
talking
never
about-
heard that shit. That
Yeah.
was fire.
I've heard that, yeah.
From just vibrations.
Just sound, like, I don't know what sound. Yeah, sound vibrations. Yeah,
Sound is vibration.
yeah.
That's fire.
I heard somebody on Joe Rogan mention that. I think.
Yeah, that's fire.
It was a
Shout out to
church.
Joe.
Yeah,
In the Bible, it's a church, and it's the people that done like priests and them. They gambling and they drinking and all that shit, and they motherfucking they miss talking to what is the word I'm looking for? Their deliverance is not what the fuck God had for them. Like, even what I'm saying is wrong. They're delivering what they supposed to be going as hell is not it. Like, they using it for a whole like churches today. How many times they give around offering? Shit like that. But that's what it was. It was motherfucking God. It was that, and it broke down. It split the church in half. It split the it split the fucking what is it that fucking
With the congregation?
But back then it used to be a chair. It split all the way from the chair all the way down the middle of the fucking church. It's in the Bible.
Right.
I read that before. I've been told that story.
I think I've actually heard about a church split, and I don't remember exactly.
Was that?
I know there was one in the Old
something?
Testament where they go around a bit like a fort or something like 7 times, and they gotta blow the trumpet. You know what I mean? As they're going around it, and then the walls fall. I want to say it's Jericho, but
That's
I really don't.
Crazy.
I really don't remember.
Yeah, that's something different.
But
yeah, that's
my point is that we continue to build on stuff, and so even as just like consider this. At one point, we're not gathering in big, large groups, right? Mm-hmm. But then at some point, like people start gathering in cities. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the next thing you know, like, oh, where am I about to go with this? My bad.
Sure. You got it. We went from civilization from like small
so anyway, we had to
city.
learn how to live together, right?
Uh-huh.
We had to learn and then we realized people in cities have different needs than the people that are still living
in the small civilization,
in the jungle or in the steppes or wherever the forest, wherever they're living, because they're living simple lives. You know what I mean?
People require more.
But so then, so for instance, around 500 BC. There's 3 really impactful people that pop up into the world. One pops up in Greece, one pops up in India, and one pops in China. You know who they are? 500 BC. Put it in the comments if you know. I bet you don't know.
Julius Caesar is
Negative.
the one I'm thinking about from Greece. I don't know.
And this is before Christ.
This is 500 years before Christ.
Nah, go.
So it's Socrates.
Okay. That was the Greece one.
That's the Greece one.
Okay.
It is the Buddha.
That's India.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And Confucius.
Confucius, never heard of that one.
You never heard of Confucius?
No, but you see, I knew which one was from which one because I done studied that shit. You feel me? I done studied it for real.
Confucius is one of the most impactful people in history.
And you said that was the one from where? Which one?
From China.
From China. Okay.
And Chinese culture is heavily based on it's called the Analects of Confucius.
Oh, okay.
And have you ever heard somebody say, Confucius say, wise man, don't eat yellow snow, that type of stuff?
I've heard that on, like, the little sayings and shit. I've heard that in, I've heard that in the movies and
That's
shit.
where that comes from. He was from 500 BC, bro.
That's crazy. Okay.
Because he had this whole setup of how society was ran, and a lot of China still follows a lot of that. It's like how to treat your family, how to treat elders, how people should treat each other, how to interact in society. What is the Buddha? He is another one that's trying to figure out how are we interacting with society, how are we interacting with each other in the world. You know, Socrates is the same thing. Socrates would literally go out in the street and just question you. Be like, what's important to you? And you'd be like, my pride. And he was like, what is pride?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, well, pride is this. And he'd be like, and then he'd like make you continue to break it down, continue to look at how you looked at the world. Heavily influenced of the world. Socrates' philosophy becomes Plato's.
I'm hitting all that.
And after Plato is Aristotle, who already named after. You know what I'm saying? Like this, in Aristotle, I think is the one that teaches Alexander the Great. Right? He's his tutor. You know what I mean? Like Socrates is a very impactful person too. All 3 of them are. Just 500 BC. So what I'm saying is, and what I'm bringing this back to is, humans have done a lot too, and we get to certain levels, and then we're at that level. And
so were they human?
Who?
Socrates,
those 3?
Buddha.
I believe so. Why not?
And what you say?
You think they're just plants?
What was the last person there?
The pilots just planted them. Socrates, Confucius, and
Confucius.
They call him the Buddha. His name is Siddhartha.
Yeah. So do you think them was humans?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Just like I think Jesus was human.
You do?
I do. Just like I think Muhammad was human.
Well,
just
Muhammad
like the
never claimed to be the son of God, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, true. But I'm just saying. Anyway,
Jesus claimed that, though.
My point is that I do believe they were real humans. I believe that humans got to a certain level.
I mean, Jesus
and these
did say he was God in the human flesh.
These 3 represented part of our evolution in thought, our evolution in civilization, our evolution in philosophy, our evolution in how we interact with the world.
Not only that, religion, belief system.
I mean, in a lot of ways, Confucianism is it's not really a religion like ours, but we would classify it as such for China.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really studied it over there.
Right.
And it's probably way more peaceful over there. That's why they.
I don't know.
It's probably it. Probably is. Even though they like you can't have more than how many ever kids. What does they?
I think they stopped that.
They stopped that. I'm glad.
I mean, they're humans
crazy.
too, right? Like,
Yeah,
consider that they're still
so you can have as many kids you want to have.
But so anyway, so I'm saying I don't know if humans did
That
things.
shit weird.
I don't know if they're plants. Maybe there is an alien that just comes and gives us information. You said that earlier, right?
Yeah, and just
maybe they just got some technology. They don't even have to come down here. They just fly by and they're like, okay, I think it's time for them to learn how to use a hammer.
And if they,
you know what I'm saying?
But I understand too. Like, what if they did drop off the first, whatever, and then
like an ant farm,
and then sat back and let us do the rest,
like an ant farm.
Like, okay,
Let me
the
see
first
what they
wheel,
gonna
the
do.
first,
Yeah, see what they're gonna do.
like how they do the
Is they
cave,
gonna
like how they do
run or they gonna fumble it?
Yeah, look, like how they do the
Yeah,
caveman,
like
how
they
they like how they portray the caveman.
They can't
The
just be a
wheel
game.
was a
They
heavy
all
ass
got beds.
concrete.
Look, they all got beds.
You know how hard it would have been to push a fucking concrete wheel.
Show the caveman.
Man,
What is that fucking
caveman
ain't
wasn't
that
doing that
insurance?
shit. I don't believe that. We've been seeing that shit since the
No, that's the
Flintstones.
thing. If you made an invention,
I'm saying we've been seeing that shit
you
since the
made an
Flintstones.
invention, call this
Okay,
nigga.
who?
that was at the movies.
But okay, so did they give us the wheel and then somebody was like, you know what? We should just put some air and some rubber in it.
Somebody, that's where you got
Throw
inventors.
some rubber around that bitch.
That's where you got inventors that come in there.
I think about that all the time. Like, who told us what to eat?
People invent shit.
Like what the?
Like, who was the first person that tried? I don't know, mustard like seed and bashed it up
Do you know
and
the
turned
way
it
they say our
into
teeth are
mustard?
made?
What
Our
about-
teeth are made. They're not made like tigers and shit. We're not even supposed to eat fucking livestock and shit like that.
We're not supposed to eat them. That's why
Meat
these are
and
so
shit
small.
like
Why do we got canines though?
Yeah, we still got canines.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's cool. You gotta
It's-
be able to
it's-
break up something.
It's not like that.
Say
It's
how
like
to tell
this.
her- say how
It's
to tell
because
her.
we don't eat as much meat as they do.
Yeah.
These got smaller.
Smaller.
That's why these are smaller. It's not because we
Literally.
don't eat.
Look,
we never
look, she
ate
like,
it.
I
It's
learned
because
So
something
we
today.
used to
don't
be
eat.
because then we
Yeah.
used to be
Look, now
giants,
she know.
and we did.
We used to
stuff
eat
like that.
everything because we used
What's
to
that
be,
movie called?
still eat
Trolls.
everything.
That
We
kid
used to
movie
be
called
fucking
Trolls.
wild
We
ass
are the
living
top.
in the
Yeah,
fucking
we are the top of the
forest.
food chain. Of
Yeah.
any food chain. Other than
Wow.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer, he
Now they
the
just
top.
make everybody smile.
We
bro.
literally used to hunt and like kill it right there and eat it right
Eat
there,
it
just
right
like a
there.
lion.
We didn't even goddamn cook
We
it.
didn't even cook it because it was before fire.
Yeah. Fire was
Literally-
around.
So
literally.
y'all was eating fish then.
They was
Fish
eating-
is
we was
easy-
everything.
fish-
Everything.
Fish was easy to
No, we
turn
was eating
to.
anything.
But what
we
if you
could
didn't
get
live
to.
near the water and all you had was an antelope?
That little chipmunk, bro, would have been full back. Like, and you got look. She said,
But
for real.
But you see what I'm saying about like what we did and like what they did, the pilots, and how much who's in control. Like, and we're getting to a point right now. I think with especially because we can't trust our media. Like, and I know that like it's never really been safe to trust the government. But
Yeah,
we
like,
thought
what are
we
they
thought some
shooting
people were doing the right things,
But
and
what
now
are
we
they
realize.
shooting down, though? Like,
I don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying.
But I mean, even at a bigger picture, bro, like the whole scenario of the world right now.
Like, is it you?
Like, what are these?
Is
Here's
it
my
UAPs?
thing.
Is
Here's
it
the
UAPs
thing
or
about
is it
the
something
UAP.
that they just sending out there and like, oh, we had to shoot something down? But
I'm
it's
gonna
really
bring it
like
back.
a decoy.
I'm gonna bring it back to the
Fucking
UAP.
decoys for sure.
This is
Believe
what I
that.
It's a
know.
decoy? Okay.
This is
It's a
what I
decoy,
know.
She thinks it's a
Sure.
decoy.
This is what I know.
UFOs is a decoy
Our
for sure. too.
Airspace.
So you don't believe them?
I do believe. I believe they already knew they'd been here. I'm sorry. I believe they already been here.
That's what I was trying to
They're
get.
just trying to make it so public now. They're just trying to make it known now. A decoy for something else. They're trying to slide up on the
Who, the
fucking
aliens or who?
The government.
So she's saying the government already knew that the aliens was
what?
here.
Come on, man.
But
You don't
they,
think so?
But now they're exposing.
If
it
anybody
to
did that,
what?
the government.
The
right?
government is a
The Men in
fucking
Black
piece of
type
fucking
shit.
shit,
Area
bro.
51.
How do they even make
They
movies
know.
like that, bro?
Like,
What? Somebody telling the truth somewhere. If we put it out here like this,
there's
they ain't
definitely
gonna take it
been
like
people that
that.
have kind of leaked out of Roswell and been like this and this and that.
It's people that leaked out
Then
shit and is
disappeared.
missing now.
Yeah, then
But-
disappear.
It's
Like,
missing now.
what I just say, disappear. Go ahead though.
So,
UAPs.
UAPs, yes. Here's what I know.
Mhm.
Our sovereignty was fucking trespassed upon.
Okay.
Like we've never had other people on our land.
Yeah.
Like they had to use planes coming from here. You know what I mean? They had to sneak in here and do it the terrorist way. We've never really had somebody like fly something in or bring a military, you know what I'm saying?
anything.
And like our sovereignty. And that's why I'm mad that they didn't see it. Regardless if what I'm saying is true and they had it turned down and all that, I don't care.
It's bullshit.
They got in.
It's bullshit.
You know what I mean? They got in. To me, I don't really think this is about aliens. I think this is about us. I think this is all us. I think that there are 10 dimensions of chess being played on a world stage. I think that there are multiple Illuminati type groups that are all vying and doing shit. I think that there are billionaires and trillionaires and all that shit. There are kingdoms and countries and principalities that are all trying to do their, you know what I mean? They're all trying to make the world into their image, right? They're trying to make it the way they want it. You got the World Economic Forum and you know what I mean? You got the Chinese, the Russians, you know what I'm saying?
At that round
Shit you
table.
said, like,
You got the people at the round table.
That sit at that round table that
exactly.
run the world, bro.
But the crazy thing is, right, peep this though, this is what I'm saying, right? So even the people at that round table, right, humans, right?
Yeah.
That we're saying, right?
I believe,
right?
I mean, I really,
even though they are the top, even though
I mean, if it's aliens, then okay, it's aliens.
right?
Whatever is at that table.
Look, Pete, though, say they all humans, right? And they all the top of their own game. One's a trillionaire, one's a billionaire, one's got this, one's got that. You know,
they're people of power.
Yeah, it's you know, they built Dubai in 40 years, bro. That was all sand 40 years ago.
That's crazy.
So that means when you was born, Dubai was all sand.
Didn't even exist.
It started.
Didn't even exist.
It started the year I was born.
Didn't even exist. You feel what I'm saying? Now they got skyscrapers. That's a fucking motherfuckers want to. You know what I'm saying? If a motherfucker was like, yeah, exactly.
That's where you going.
Man, what? If a motherfucker right now was like, come on, take you to Dubai. You'll be like, shit. You gotta get sunny.
But you got them.
Yeah. Period.
You got them. You got every country's secret service.
All of that. Yeah.
Check this out, though.
So Pete, this is what I was gonna say. Hold on, real quick.
No, you just said something. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
How we don't know that the government, if we got all this fucking goddamn technology and everything, how we don't see these UFOs coming in? And at least they know about it, or how we know it's not them building aircrafts and shit that's already here to make it look like that.
Yeah,
we don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying. The decoy shit. Yeah, that's what I said.
We don't know.
But this is what I was gonna say. So all these humans at the same table, right? But each person got their own agenda.
Yes.
Like even though they trying to make it seem like it's the Illuminati,
but they also
everybody still got their own emotions.
They're also working together for a greater agenda.
But are they?
Or
do I gotta scratch your back so you can scratch mine until I can figure out how to get over on you?
No, because then it wouldn't be fucking.
Like,
then it wouldn't be debt with other countries. Do you know that they talking about that they can fucking? But they just put out a thing where they could start taking our taxes. We are so much in debt with China that they can start taking our taxes just to pay them back. I'm like, why y'all just can't print more money?
No, it ain't even that.
China. You know why? You know why?
Nah,
because the
China,
fucking the value of $1 is leaving.
Nah, hell nah. China was like,
the value of $1 is
nope,
leaving.
that ain't what it was.
Printing it out.
Nope. China was like, y'all gonna pay us for our fucking balloon. China was like, you gonna pay us for our fucking balloon. We spent a lot of money on that balloon to get it over there so y'all didn't detect it. Y'all know how much money I put on the undetectable balloon? We finna start taking all you hoes income taxes. We need that back.
That's why I said the art of war, because they use like the simple thing to get into our airspace, man. Just a simple ass little balloon. It's not really that little. They put it like 60,000 feet. It was like the size of 2 to 3 school buses. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's pretty good size, really, but it ain't.
Yeah,
it's
moving, it look like somebody was
super slow, so it doesn't look like a jet.
Yeah, it looked like somebody was a tourist.
Because it's just floating.
Somebody was on it like this.
Right?
Bro, it looked like a tourist balloon.
That motherfucker had a pilot, too.
They was like, why the hell? Yeah, it had a pilot. Autonomous, though. Autonomous. Like, and that goes back to the artificial intelligence, too. Like, how do I program something that I don't have to man?
I mean,
like,
they can have somebody sitting at a little computer.
Oh, so there's somebody manning it. Yeah, you're right. That's fine. But that's a long way. That's a long way to man something like that.
It's easier to put it in there. You could be sitting in China, bro, like with the little remote control, sitting in front of a computer screen, driving that motherfucker.
And how long do you have to do that? That's longer than for us to just be able to actually just pinpoint it and then let it go autonomously by itself. It just does it by itself.
And then it just reports back.
Yeah, coordinates.
But they say that the first one, they say the first one had they saw it have mobility.
Ooh, like to where it was moving, like somebody was controlling
were just
it.
floating, but that one it had mobility. So yeah,
somebody's manning it.
That's what our government said.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense though, because they like the other ones was just literally just like somebody let a balloon in the air. Like, you know what I'm saying? It gonna go wherever the wind takes.
But look, they don't even know what those were.
This one, when we saw it and we tried to even get towards it, that motherfucker got to looking like it was trying to maneuver and whatnot, like it was trying to, oh my God, something sees us and tried to get away, like, so we had to take that down ASAP.
The other three, they could have been like weather balloons. They could have come from some university where was doing some kind of experiment type shit. Yeah. Like, they don't know. Now, why they shot them down, if that's the possibility, I don't know. You think they could call universities and be like, hey, y'all got a balloon floating around up here?
But yeah, I mean, I'm saying them videos they didn't release kind of look a little bit
suspect.
Super.
I think there's a lot of I think that's when you talk about the pilots, I think about all the suspect stuff that's going on. And it's like we're not getting a clear story from anybody. It's like it's just everything we got is propaganda. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, but it is wild because like
it is wild.
The craziest thing of trying to make sense of something is something that you don't have no info or no history on or no experience or whatever. So if it is UAP, which is Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon,
UAP,
like if that's what it is, then and it's something that you can't really identify,
it's the UAP.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Then you gonna give it whatever you got. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I could grab something and throw it in the air. That's a UAP. If you don't know what it was or you ain't see what it was, you just gonna give it what you thought it was. Like, I think that was his lighter they threw across. You know what I mean? The sky.
I'm not 100% sure.
But I'm not really like, I just know
like
blue.
73.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you like, nah, I thought you threw his goddamn weed across the goddamn, you know what I'm saying, air. Like,
that's how they try to.
Some people said
the government try to
kind of perspective too. Yeah, it's kind of.
That's how the government try to trick you with shit.
Keep you confused about definitions.
Bitch, we know what the fuck UFO, UPA, whatever the fuck UAP. It's all the same fucking thing.
Sort of, kind of.
Well, but I guess they're trying to make a difference, and these aren't like aliens,
man, they already knew these motherfuckers was here.
Somewhere on the planet.
Man, they already knew they was here.
Is that what it is for real?
See, I don't think those are like UFOs like we normally think of UFOs, because like I said, we've seen the videos of the little things that like dart around or they dive into the sea and disappear.
It's a sweet ass
and all that jazz. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen those videos. You know what I mean?
Now, would you say that's considered the UFO type of?
Yeah.
Those type of videos are UFO?
I mean, at this day and age, it's kind of hard because, like, look, we don't know how technologically advanced China is. Yeah. We don't know if that dude that spent all that money building Dubai also spent a bunch of money creating some kind of funky aircraft. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so, at this point, some flies around different and we don't know about it. That doesn't mean it's aliens. That doesn't mean it's some kind of extraterrestrial.
Let me tell you though, man, why not? Why can't it be somebody that got a lot of motherfucking money?
That's what I'm saying. It could be.
The Tesla man. This nigga got a fucking car that are older parts by itself. When it sees that it feels in the car that it motherfucking got to need a part, it order it itself by its fucking self, bro.
Yeah, that's actually outstanding.
You hear me?
Oh, that's fire.
We got Apple Watches.
Like self-detection.
Hey, bro,
it's like self-detection. Like, damn, I'm gonna need an oil change here in a second.
About no check light.
You
gotta run the AutoZone.
Man, you need a fucking fuel pump.
And then run the code.
Yeah. Right now, I'm about to order
like a human car. Like it diagnosed itself.
Actually, that's better than a human because we don't even take care of ourselves that much.
No, listen. Apple is coming out with a fucking watch. What are some people that motherfucking got them
diabetes?
What? Yeah. They got an Apple Watch that the motherfucking check your shit and you ain't even gotta take your blood no more. That's how advanced technology is. So how ain't somebody up there?
That's what I'm saying.
How ain't somebody up there just putting some shit up there in the air? If y'all got shit that's around shit, how is these things getting in here?
Right.
How is these things getting in here?
And at this point with technology, like it's easily.
It's like they contradict themselves.
But what he's saying it easily could be us too, because I feel what he's saying. Like, if a motherfucker can make this watch and then like shit, let me put my phone right here. That way I don't have to
take your blood pressure, everything.
Like all the motherfucker gotta do that, and then now you got an Apple Watch. Then after that, you like, well, shit, what else can I do with this? oh, I can make it count my steps. I can make it take my blood pressure. I can make it. Okay. If I can make it take my blood pressure, how I keep people from pricking themselves.
But look. You know what? That watch is a real good example. Let me jump in on this because that watch is a real good example, right? Because before they were able to make that watch, they had to figure out how to make gears.
Yeah.
And they had to real understand how gears move and shit. And they had to figure out time so they could put those gears and those springs and all that shit in there. Right? Think about all the different technology that humans had to come up with to get that watch to keep time. Literally keep time.
That's
like
it.
Really close to a 24-hour schedule.
Yeah, and that's it.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it used to be the little pocket watch on the chain.
Right. And this is before electricity, right? Like there were watches before there were electricity.
I know.
They just wound them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
And then
they
they
had to wind it every 24 hours.
You know, but it would run and it would keep time. You know what I mean?
24 hours. Yeah.
And,
I remember.
And then the next thing you know, we get electricity, which has only been around for like what 100.
That's what I'm saying.
50 years,
bro. This is what I'm saying.
150,
that stuff
200 years.
Was that Albert Einstein?
No.
Who had the second thing out? Benjamin Franklin with the kite.
But that wasn't even the invention of electricity, though. He was just conducting something to basically be like, I can take that from the sky and
it was
put it down
Thomas
into this.
Edison, I think, that
it's
did the light.
The light. Yeah, they did the light.
And
he transferred.
Doing the infrastructure of putting it into the world.
He looked for the use of that. What can we do?
Well, they also said Nikola Tesla was big on electricity, actually.
Yeah, he was too.
And trying to figure out ways to share it
and contain it.
Nikola Tesla.
You know they said he
George Washington Farmer.
You know he came up with
George Washington Carver. She said farmer.
Yeah, she off the chain.
She said she just want to drop a little piece of knowledge. She's like George Washington.
In the last
Carver
week
was
of fucking Black History
Month,
fuck.
Right?
Soybean head girl. Anyways,
peanut is a peanut, not a soybean.
Nah, he did the soy shit too.
He probably did.
Yeah, he did it all. Too. Yeah, George Washington Carver.
Shout out George Washington Carver.
For sure.
High school.
Like entrepreneur. Anyways. But anyways, like they said, Nikola Tesla figured out something that has something to do with the like unlimited energy.
Yeah, I don't understand it exactly, but yeah, he had some way that like. And actually, part of the story I heard is like Thomas Edison and some of them other cats, they just bullied him out the way because he was not like a businessman.
Yeah,
he was an inventor. He was a scientist.
Yeah, I ain't trying to say nothing.
And from my understanding, he didn't really care about money and all that, so he didn't patent it and stuff like that. And people just
took advantage of it.
And then they were like,
no, they took his ideas and they made them.
And they also
turned it from concrete wheels into rubber wheels. That's all they did.
They pushed him under the rug so they could do it their way. So Thomas Edison and GE, General Electric.
You had the clean idea, but I made it this way.
Yeah,
they stole that shit.
But
he'd have got paid for any type of design for that back then.
He even had a UAP or UFO.
He said he had a UAP.
No, or UFO type of blueprint. Like, look it up.
I believe it.
Look it up.
I believe
he even had like a
I think that's why Elon took the name Tesla.
Like he even had a saucer type of prototype, whatever you want.
Respect for that guy.
Yeah, type of vehicle, if you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? That he was working on himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, where he get that idea from? Who put that in his head? Was he talking to them folks? Was he so above his time that them folks knew it and was like, all right, I'm about to go and
that's what I'm saying. What if he's just a normal human that just has a really big brain and like he just makes some connections?
I mean, they got it.
Or why he just ain't a fucking inventor.
He was.
They came out with that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the inventors, like, you know, they're just. What if they're just human? What if it's not some message from outside source? Right? It's just because, you know what, we figured out the watch, we figured out how to do that.
People can pick into their brain, bro.
Let me just try that.
Now I'm gonna play with this or I'm gonna play with that. You know what I mean? You know, like for instance, let's talk about fire, right? Which is the greatest invention since fire, right? Fire changed the way humans interacted with the world.
Literally.
It changed our health, it changed our teeth.
Yeah.
Because we cooked our food, we didn't have to rip it with our teeth as much. Savages. But damn it, I keep losing my shit.
Nah, I'm saying like the part of
I got a thread and
and I always bring it back. The evolution as far as fire goes. Like
so the thank you.
Gotcha.
So a car engine, right? An internal combustion engine, right? We figured out that we could take 8 cylinders, filling them up with gas, time these fucking pistons so that when the thing comes up, it fires and ignites that and shoves that piston back down, so it keeps the whole car going at hundreds of miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like
Shout out Henry
how much?
Ford.
Yeah, but how much technology did it take for us to get to that point? How many engines did they make? How many trial and errors? How many different people use different chemicals or oils or lubricants or
All types of
plastics or
different stuff,
materials? You know what I mean?
To try to come up with this,
Yeah, right. Like, but we had to have Henry Ford in the Model A. We had to have those early cars, and obviously the Model A wasn't the first one. That was just the first one that was mass produced.
Yeah.
Can I tell you this real quick?
Yeah.
Do you know Henry Ford stole the idea of a fucking car from his slave, bro?
A car from a slave.
What? It was a. I'm about to show you. It was a fucking Negro that fucking motherfucking guy that made the car.
Look it up real quick, because we ain't talking about the car. We talking about.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think
use some more black history.
I think cars were starting to make them before they even had internal combustion, because they were making them out of steam was the first thing we realized.
Because that came from driving. Remember, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to say that earlier too. So we got from so many years, right? We got from just walking to horseback carriages.
Yep.
To somebody wanted to all of a sudden build a boat and go across seas.
I think people that live near water were doing boats a long time ago.
Read it.
People that were living in water.
Read it.
Yeah, I think boats been around since people been around something that could float. When they, I say a pretty early human was like, hey, this might float me down the river.
Fire. I mean, he said that though. He did.
What's it say?
I said that.
Not. I'm saying he said that
about
before it was mass produced. Henry Ford was the one that mass produced.
Did you know
that
C.R.
Patterson, an ex-slave, and his family built automobiles before Henry Ford.
Henry Ford stole the idea and was able to put it out there because he was motherfucker. He had the money to do it.
Yeah, it says they called their line the Patterson Greenfield, the Pattersons of Greenfield, Ohio.
Really?
Yep.
Were an African-American family who began in 1915 manufacturing automobiles, buses, and trucks.
Period.
But I think
slavery didn't stop to the 1930s. Didn't we just talk about that the other night?
It says Patterson, early automotive inventor and designer, born Charles Richard Patterson, birthed in 1833, is celebrated on this date. He was a black slave who gained his own freedom and became an inventor and carriage company entrepreneur. Doesn't say he was the first person to invent the car though.
All right, give my phone.
I don't think there was really a first.
I think there was. This is Carl
I'm
Benz.
saying who Tom
who really
Ford
made the
got
first
his
car.
shit from.
It says who really made the first car. You got Carl Benz. I'm expecting that's the Mercedes Benz
I would
guy.
say, yeah.
Yeah, you feel me?
And I mean, same German.
Tom Ford got his cars from.
Right.
It's people. Whether it was him
they got him on there
too.
They got him on
Tom
there too.
Ford. Man, his slave, he got his idea from his slave.
Right?
No, I ain't even gonna say a fucking slave. I want to say it was a motherfucker that built the fucking car, and they didn't have the money to motherfucking goddamn build more or make it patent or whatever, and they took the fucking idea from it. That's what it was.
Okay.
So look at we just continue to build though, right? Now we got Tesla, we got look at what we have as
planes,
far as cars,
jets,
bro. Like look at what we've done because we learned first we had to learn how to
shit you was just saying.
Which
part? Aquatic people did boats before.
I just think boats have been around since people were around water, bro. I think even an early Neanderthal would be like,
shit.
I can travel down this river like a rat, you know what I mean? Like just something to float on. And if you think about Native Americans in their canoes, all they did was they built them somehow. You know what I mean? They used some wood and some deer skin, or they just hollowed out a tree or whatever they did. You know what I mean? I just think boats have been around for a grip. Because honestly, water was our first real way of traveling.
Right, even in the
fast traveling.
I think walking.
Well, I mean walking, yeah, but I mean as far as doing something faster than walking.
But Jackie, even in Jesus' days, how did other countries come and get to another country for war? Some walked, but then they would use
boats or they would walk.
That's what I'm
saying. They definitely weren't flying. They did walk a lot.
I swear to God, they was walking a lot back then.
But think about how far we've come, and so what I'm saying is we're at a point right now we've got all this information that we've built from all the things we've learned from all over the world now. It's not
a bunch of different experiences,
right?
A bunch of different tribal stuff
Yeah,
that's
we're all
been taught over
now.
there.
It's all gathered onto
the
the internet.
Yeah.
And now we got these computers that'll process all this information and come up with shit that humans don't realize, don't recognize, didn't understand, whatever. You know what I mean?
For us.
Like literally,
but it's better for us to do it for our own. That's how I feel. We shouldn't really rely on all of that to, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have the type of attitude I have about Chinese folks, and I ain't never been over there to experience it yet.
You know everybody ain't like that.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, just the overall.
I believe I've said this on a previous podcast, but let me tell you something about China. China has always really, truthfully been a defensive country. Once they were like everybody else, there's a bunch of warlords and there's a bunch of areas, but once they kind of united into their common thing, recognize this was like 7,000 years ago when China did it.
Yeah.
China's doing it around the same time that Egypt's doing it type shit.
Okay.
Like the same time that Greece is doing it. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about early civilization.
Trying to beat themselves.
We're not talking about like Egypt can go all the way back to like Indus Valley and Mesopotamia.
Yeah. We ain't talking about all that stuff that they went
through.
But you know, they always go through something. They still going through something to this day.
And if you want to talk about like history, like written history, like you know what I mean, that we really have access to at a lot better level. China's been contiguous the whole time. Now, over the last 400 or 500 years, the Europeans decided that because they had better technology and they couldn't beat the Muslims in the Middle East, that they go fuck everybody else up. Because let's recognize that the reason why they go out to the rest of the world is because they lose to the Muslims in the Holy Wars and the Crusades.
Always.
Right?
Always.
The Crusades end. You know when the Crusades end? 1492. You know what else happened in 1492?
What else?
1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That happens at the same time that the Crusades are dying out.
Yeah,
essentially, like the Crusades end.
Yeah.
We've lost the war. We can't control the economics that are going through the Middle East to Asia, the Silk Road, blah, blah, blah,
and
blah.
we actually need them motherfuckers for real.
They're like,
for the resources.
You know what, Mr. Columbus? Yeah, go find us another way.
Yeah, another way.
We can't get that way anymore.
Because they're not going. Yeah. That's crazy. History lesson. History lesson.
But then at that point, they walk around and they're like, well, these people are living like barbarians. They're still using bows and arrows. They're still living in tents and shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we're like, we got to civilize them. We got to bring Jesus to them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so then they start, what do they do? And you know, they say that's what they're doing, but what do they really do? They just go beat everybody. Yeah, they just go fuck everybody up and take their shit.
Yeah, they house their shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so what they do in China, you know what they did in China? So China at the time was a real big producer of opium.
They still,
and Britain,
it's a part of their religion.
And Britain was trading that shit. And the Chinese were like, man, we got too many dope heads and addicts running around. We need to clamp down on this shit. So they're like, hey, we're going to clamp down on shit. And the British were like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking punch you in the fucking neck if you don't shut the fuck up type shit. I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. And the Chinese were like, well, we're going to refuse. And so they went to war. It's called the Opium Wars. And the British won. And that's why they had Hong Kong, which is just one city, a port, in the fucking heart of meat of fucking the Chinese ocean border. Right? The British just owned it.
Flooded too. And we're going to flood it.
And guess what's coming out? Opium.
Flood it. We're going to flood it.
Bruh. The biggest dope dealers in the world is the British, bro. But anyway, but look, like if you think about China's position, they see the West, they see the Europeans doing what they're doing. They see what they're doing in Africa. They see what they do in the New World, right? They see that we're going to commit genocide sometimes. We're going to enslave other people. You know what I mean? Everything that we did, right? Yeah. And then we're going to economically colonize. And so China's like, these motherfuckers
is ruling shit.
We got to protect ourselves.
We cool on that.
Right? Like, we got to protect ourselves. If you look at what they did around the end of World War II was when they take Tibet. Yeah. If you look at the map, the reason why they take Tibet is because it's the Himalayas. It's a natural,
preserved
biggest wall. If you want a wall to divide you from other people, the Himalayas is the biggest wall.
Yeah, we need to take that over.
Right.
Sure.
They want to control that for their defense, bro. In the West, they take over the Gobi Desert or whatever. There's a big desert. Why? Because they want a border. They want to protect themselves.
Keep y'all motherfuckers away from us.
Exactly. So now, a lot of people say China's dangerous. And I'm getting this is going off of UAPs now.
We ain't talking about the triads, but go ahead.
We ain't talking about the triad. But and the Chinese are dangerous, bro. They're not to be fucking with. But anyway, but overall, they're kind of a defensive country, right? They're really not like colonizers. Mm-hmm. You know, at no point in their history do you see them like, we're going to take over all the islands in the Pacific. The Japanese did that shit. Yeah. The Spanish tried to do that shit. The Portuguese did that shit. The Dutch did that shit. But you didn't see the Chinese doing that. Never. Taiwan is one island that's really close to them. Mm-hmm. They wanted that. Yeah. But other than that, the Philippines is not that far away. They could have easily colonized the Philippines and said, fuck Spain.
And they didn't.
But they didn't. Exactly. They could have had that before Spain came, but they didn't. So anyway, so then you get to a position where they see the Cold War and all that, and they got to try to keep up or whatever, but they're still never really like super aggressive.
Yeah, they were.
Remember, and then, you know, before the British and all that, remember there's Genghis fucking Khan. Mm-hmm. And those tribes that are coming into China just beating the fuck out of them.
Man, what?
So they built a wall.
Yeah.
Right? They built a wall literally to keep these horse riders from coming in and attacking them. Mm-hmm. So again, a defensive position.
That's it. Not like we about to get together and wah! Nah, we ain't finna do none of that, bro.
That was all left for the interior as they fought amongst each other for control, bro. But yeah, man, seriously, man. So like, a lot of people say they fear the Chinese. Honestly, I do too, because I think that they would love to have the world controlled in the way that they control their country. Mm-hmm. I think that they feel like their way is the best way.
But they're doing it so modestly.
And I like my freedom.
Is that what scares you?
Huh?
Because you're doing it modestly.
What do you mean by modestly?
I said, is that what had you fearful of them because they do it modestly?
But what do you mean they do it modestly? What are you saying?
Send little balloons or make sure all the clothes you wear say made in China or like.
So they send subliminal.
Like, no, I think it's more of what I see happening in their country as far as like their social credit scoring system, the monitoring, the AI monitoring. Like you walk down the street and they facial recognition all the time. I mean, the truth is we're getting there now too. Like that's what scares me is we're becoming more like them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like we're behind. Because we can't make.
We are kind of fucking up. We can't make balloons.
That shoot over there.
No, but we can make fucking rockets that'll go to the moon, but we can't make a balloon.
That's undetectable, and then we can send over there.
It's an undetectable, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Wow. You're China off the chain, man.
Yeah. Nah, man. I mean, they're scary only because like the West has always been like, oh, China's scary. Mm-hmm. What did China do?
Yeah.
What did China do?
What still makes them scary? Because
they're huge.
Yeah.
Because they're huge. That's why they're scary.
And the numbers.
It's like you're walking around, like you're in jail, and you see the biggest motherfucker. You're like, damn, I don't want to fuck with him. He's huge. He's a fucking big ass, fucking Pooh Bear ass, teddy bear ass motherfucker. Yeah. But because he's the biggest motherfucker, you're like, man, I'm gonna have to punch him in his face just show everybody else that I'm tough.
Yeah, knock him out.
You know what I mean?
Hit him in his nose.
You know what I mean? You gotta fear him because he's the biggest dude.
And then not only that, I think America still feels some type of way about what was it, Hiroshima or whatever it was.
That was Japan, bro.
Oh, okay. Whatever it was.
Japan did do the colonization thing and tried to colonize China. Oh, by the way. Yeah. Before World War II, part of that whole thing was Japan colonized big parts of China.
Crazy, huh?
He was a samurai or something.
Who was?
The dude was talking about.
The Genghis Khan dude? Yeah. Nah, I don't think he was a samurai.
No, he wasn't a samurai.
He was like an emperor.
He was an emperor.
Like he was like an emperor.
He was the Khan of Khans.
This nigga was killing
Genghis Khan created the largest empire that the world has ever known.
By himself.
Well, him and his homies.
I mean,
he was actually kind
of gang.
He was definitely gang.
Yeah, all the way gang.
He was actually like he did some real gnarly shit and he did some real cool shit. Yeah. Genghis Khan was like, hey, I like your house. It's mine now. Yeah. And if you were like, okay, he'd be like, all right, you can live in it. You just gotta pay me. Yep. But if you're like, nah, this is my house, he'd just be like, boop, shoot you in the head. Yep. He'd take Naenizzle, be like, I think she make a good cook.
Yeah, this my bitch now. These my kids now. Yep. If I feel like the son, gonna go against me,
he literally would take the kids.
Yeah, like I feel like if the son gonna go against me, I'm gonna kill him too in front of you.
But the kids would get adopted off in the future.
Yeah, and be into like
integrated.
Yeah, Yeah.
Don't use me as a fucking example.
No, I'm saying like no.
Get somebody else to do it.
She said,
Don't
She
say
said,
that.
I'm not cooking for
Nah,
no
bro.
Genghis
Man,
Khan.
why you not taking
no,
my
I'm saying
kids,
like
nigga?
real
Come on,
talk.
walk, walk, walk. Kick your motherfucking ass, nigga.
But look, that's how gnarly he was, though.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
he would walk into cities and be like, you're going to pay us tax now, and you're going to be under our control. And if cities were like, nah, he just, like, wipe them out.
Yep.
And they'd
That
wipe
was like
them out.
businesses
He'd
like
do
they
that
did
type
in
of
the
shit where
70s.
he'd leave, like, one person and be like, run to the next town and tell them what happened.
Yeah.
So when he got to the next
Messenger.
town, they're like,
It was
damn,
already-
Genghis is here. What are we
Isn't
going
that
to
crazy?
do?
We got Messenger now, but that's the way they used to send
That
messages.
was the
It sound like a Western movie. Kind of sound like the Cowboys and shit.
Dude.
Kind of sound like, you know what I mean? The Cowboys, how they used to do. You feel me? Like, go ahead, go to the next city and tell them we coming around that bank shit.
What's it called? They was extorting motherfuckers.
Yeah,
They was
and that's what he was doing.
That is
Genghis
what
Khan was really
That's
like,
what taxes are, is a form of extortion.
it really
They
is.
weak ass. How
mean,
you tax
I don't
and
really-
get my
Especially at
tax
that
and still
time.
take
Yeah,
my
at that
tax.
time.
At that time.
Talking about those type.
You know what I mean? It was like extortion. It was basically like, okay, you're going to pay us or we're going to kill you. You have a choice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a form of slavery, really, if
It
you think
is.
about it.
Today is a form
Extortion,
of
slavery.
What you mean? You cash your check, they take taxes. Well, first of all, you don't even cash your check yet. They take taxes. You cash your check, they take taxes. Anything you buy, they take taxes. What? They pimping.
Then when you
They
sell
was
it,
pimping,
they take
bro.
Yeah.
Anything, it's a tax on you. Can't sell.
Anytime you move,
If I sell you something that I
money.
paid for by
Anytime
myself,
you move money, just
Something has to be, something's on it.
said they need their dividends.
It's some type of different, like a different
It's a
entity
tax.
that's still on it, like before you even get it, like or before you
pimping
even
us
give it.
though. Tax us forever. You tax
And
us.
that's what I'm confused about. If you cool with getting pimped by the government, but I can't. No.
You better off getting pimped than
I was
me.
just playing.
I'm way
We about to
more
wrap this
sweeter
up.
He
than
said
that,
you
bro.
better off getting pimped than
Yeah,
me.
to me, nigga, I be sweet.
Tell
like
him,
that.
Renee.
I put you out
Why would he
there.
be better?
Me out
Yeah,
here.
what?
Why would he be better?
No, I would be better as the
Why would it
pimp.
be better to pimp him out than it would be to pimp you out?
What's up?
Cause
Because
I'm a way
Cause
more
what?
sweeter. You got good vocabulary and stuff. I'm way more. He's a finesser, and I'm way more.
I don't know, man.
I'm more-
She
hey.
gave me 2 ups, and then she.
No, listen.
All right, we talking about you.
Cause I can persuade the fuck out of people. I'm a good persuader.
So that make you a better
Persuade
pimp,
this nigga all the
and then
time.
make him a better hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Why is he make a better hoe than you?
Yeah. What's
I
up?
mean,
Come on.
You good at what you do. You already know. You got years of experience.
Damn.
What?
You're gonna be hoeing.
said resume.
nigga. Hoeing, nigga.
This ain't got a resume.
You hear me? You hear me? You hear me?
I thought you was gonna say something like, "Well, shit, I got a couple old chicks. They got some money that I can send him out to at the Friendship Village.
He knows the
It's a couple over here at the other little nursing home. I got him on deck. See,
You
I
know
thought you was
the
gonna
old
say
chicks.
something.
I'm
like
mad as fuck at that
I thought
idea.
You know the
was
old
gonna say something
chicks.
like that.
I'm mad as fuck at that idea you
I
just
thought
had,
I
bro.
thought she was gonna say something like that, but she.
Look,
Nah.
That lets you know that she's not more of the pimp than I am. Because if
And you
it
can
was
persuade me
me,
to do what?
I never said persuade you.
Okay.
Did I use that word or you did?
You pimp people. I believe this nigga done pimped people before. He don't even know. But he has.
She's lying.
hey, you're saying he's pimping people.
Hey, but
didn't
look
know
at
he
me,
was
though.
pimping people?
Hey, look at
this.
me,
Look
though.
this. She's lying. T-Rex on. T-Rex, like a T-Rex.
You say you done hit Pinky or something?
No, just,
What?
Cause she got T-Rex arms.
no.
Who got T-Rex? Pinky, the strip.
No,
The porn star, nigga. Is that what you're saying? I'm like, cause you might have.
I've never. I don't know what you're talking about.
You fucking got fucking
Look,
20
shut this. All right, let's wrap this up real quick. UAPs, UFOs. How do y'all feel about them? How you feel about UFPs and UAPs?
I feel like it's definitely shit. They out there. They been here. They nothing new. They just using shit now to bring it out as a distraction for what they're really trying to do. Be aware.
That's what you think.
If you was in a Monday, be aware. You
She
hear me?
said if you was in a Monday.
You hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
Hey, all I'm gonna
Come on,
say
man.
is
I'm just saying.
live your life, ride your ride, smile your smiles, and cry your cries.
Okay.